In a surprise move, we have new Modern Horizon 3 pricing. You're not going to find these prices on Amazon yet, but you are going to find them in today's video. So stay tuned, buckle up. Modern Horizon 3 is about to get crazy. By the time you're done this video, one of two outcomes will have occurred. Either you're going to believe that Wizards of the Coast gave in to the players, or you believe that Wizards of the Coast knew this was going to happen all along and made price marketing decisions based on the headwinds they were facing. Welcome back everyone, MTG Moxman here, and thanks again for hanging out with me on the channel today. Now of course, if you want to see more of the Moxman every day, all you need to do is hit that subscribe button, turn on your notification bells, and of course, you get to see me 7 days a week with new content every single day. So what do we have going on? What are we talking about new pricing? It's not really new pricing. Most of us were well aware that Wizards of the Coast had kind of a placeholder pricing to judge the interest of players of Magic the Gathering for Modern Horizons 3 at the price level we saw on Amazon. And that means a collector box was $504 US. In Canadian dollars, that's $740. I mean, talk about just like giving you the good old Mike Tyson's punch out and just slamming it at you, deciding to look at pricing that way. Now again, likely it was just a placeholder. They're judging. They're taking a look to see if any pre-orders come in to see, will the bait be good enough to hook a fish? Who's going to buy at that price? Knowing that even if people don't like the price later, they can cancel. At least they knew there was some interest at that pricing point. Which leads us to what we are about to talk about, pardon me, is the fact that now an LGS here in Toronto has given pricing. They have put their pre-orders up for you guys to purchase. Now this is in Canada. I have made adjustments for that. We'll discuss it as we go along, but it's very interesting to see that this pricing is so radically different from what we're seeing on Amazon. Let's take a look at the first one here. So first we're going to have Modern Horizons 3 English Collector Booster Box pre-order. Now this is where it's very interesting because the price tag here of $499.95 Canadian plus tax, okay, is the exact same price that Modern Horizons 2 was on pre-order a couple of years ago. The price hasn't changed at all. They've kept it the exact same price, and that is very interesting. Now, if we're converting this to the US dollar, I put the price above. You'll see there $349.99 US is roughly what you'd expect to pay if you took a 30% haircut on the Canadian dollar. So just to give you an idea of what you might be paying in the US, I actually expect the price to be a smidgen lower than that because in the US, they don't have to deal with the import fees that we get in Canada for bringing Magic the Gathering over the border. So this may even be further adjusted, which means players might get a little bit of excitement going. Now, the next one is, of course, the Play Booster Boxes. English only Play Booster Box pre-order for $389.95 Canadian, which of course is the same price they offered on Amazon. The Amazon price was basically the exact same price. That means if we take the 30% haircut, again, Canadian dollar, it's $275 US. Take away the import fees, this thing could be around $250, maybe even a little bit less. It depends on where you're going to be in the US, but that's roughly what I think you're going to be paying. This is a lot more accurate now that I've seen an LGS post this thing up. And of course, we go to our next one, which is going to be the Commander decks. A deck set of 4 on pre-order is going to be $299.95 Canadian or $210 US. And that's for all 4 Commander decks. And of course, lastly, we jump over and take a look at those premium collector decks. Now those things were on pre-order for $629.95, and they of course are sold out. If we convert it to the US, that'd be $439.99 US to buy all 4. Now here's where things get kind of crazy. When you take a look at those 4 product lineups, we haven't had a couple of them before. I didn't put the bundle packs in, but I want to focus on those Commander decks because I just told you the price hasn't shifted. The Play Booster Box is basically the same price that we would have paid if we were paying for Modern Horizons 2 draft boxes, roughly. It's a little bit higher, but not by a lot. And then, of course, the collector box being the exact same price. So why is that even possible if Wizards of the Coast is constantly jacking up our prices? Well, it is because of the Commander decks. It is the most popular format in Magic the Gathering. It is king of the hill, and Wizards of the Coast is well aware that they could price check the other items and keep them at the same price point, but they've added a revenue stream by putting those Commander decks inside. The fact those Commander decks exist, no matter how much players hate them because it's a modern format they're supposed to be promoting, but Wizards knows where the butter is on the bread and thickest and juiciest, and that's Commander. And that allows them now to butter their popcorn and just sit back and enjoy, because a lot of players, if they put decent cards together, are going to dive in on at least the ones that are the $209 US ones, the base set. That's going to sell well if there's decent cards. The premium set doesn't have to sell nearly as many. But if there's something special just inside the premium set, they're going to sell units too. So don't be surprised if that revenue stream just brings in so much cash for Wizards of the Coast. When you take a look at what this company is trying to do, they may have been very well aware of the headwinds that they announced they were facing. They may have made price adjustments even before release. They may have not told Amazon. They may have actually left it up there on purpose to give us a better feeling about the prices we're going to see from distributor level and your LGS. Now, I can't speak to everyone's LGS in the world, guys, but that pricing, even to me, looks a lot more fair, a lot more understandable from a consumer to company review. I look at it and say, oh, they didn't change the price. That's actually really good. But here's the difference. We're not in 2022. We're not going back to 2021. We're not going back to 2020. We're in 2024, and we're in an entirely different economic state. The players of Magic the Gathering have evolved since we saw all these amazing premium sets come out. And we know that Modern Horizons 2 did have a price dump. People forget about that. This product, even now, you can find it a lot cheaper than you could at release a couple of years ago. And those collector boxes, I remember being on sale numerous times about 9 months after release. So, players will still have patience because they've evolved. They will still buy the singles because they know better. What is Wizard of the Coast going to do, even at $4.99 a collector box, to guarantee some value? Will the fetch lands be enough this time? And after we saw fetch land prices dissolve under Modern Horizons 2, will players justify a box knowing the fetch lands could lose potentially 50% or more of their value and not recover? This is where the difference is from a few years ago. Players don't have the wool over their eyes. Players are watching their wallets. And although these prices are going to look far more attractive and quell a lot of debate, there's going to be a lot of visceral reactions still to what we're about to see in these prices. You guys are going to slam down some comments that are probably going to be maybe not so nice, maybe okay. It depends. It depends on where you're coming from and what state of mind you are when you watch my video. I told you there's two ways of taking it. It's either going to be some kind of economic marketing thing because they knew they were in trouble, or they knew all along how we'd react to the first price, and they had this as a setup all along. Either way, it still is going to depend on the cards now. How they put this set together, what new, unique cards of value get added to this modern format, what cards they slam into those commander decks to make them worth that much money, because now the price is not nearly as offensive as it was. Maybe not for everyone, but from the Moxman's point of view, I look at this and in my opinion, I'm not as mad now. But I also know the other thing, the last little bit of information here at the end of the video. If you made it this far, LGS has changed their prices. This is a pre-order price to get revenue and stuff generating. Who's to say it's going to stay at that price point? Who says that's going to be the price for you? If good cards are inside these boxes, we always have to worry about orders being canceled now. Stores not ordering enough because they don't have enough cash flow. Although a large LGS like the one I just showed you, they're not going to renege on any deals or any purchases you make. Smaller LGSs are not in the same boat. If amazing cards are found inside this set, they will cancel orders and jack up prices. Not every store, but some do. We know it's kind of an underhanded thing they do. but it happens. Or if you bought 10 boxes, they may honor 2. Keep that in mind as well. So we're either going to have players not pre-ordering still, or the fear of your order being canceled and assurances needed that they're not going to change their price. Because if the cards are awesome, they may not renege on their price, they may keep the deal, but the boxes that haven't been sold yet start creeping up. $4.99 becomes $5.29, $5.69, $5.99. It depends what's inside the box. Either way, I can't wait to see what your reactions are after seeing this video. I hope you guys made it to the end of the video. I hope you got this information down. I want to know how you're feeling about it now, what you're thinking about the product now you see a different price point, and will you be buying at a better price point now that you've seen it and now you can actually take a look at what an LGS is charging. Thanks again for hanging out with me on the channel. Thanks for stopping by the channel and watching this content. I hope you guys gave it a thumb up. I hope you guys had a good time while you were here. And of course, tomorrow we'll have another video. It will be the top 10 edition of the hottest selling cards in Magic. And there are going to be a lot of surprises on that list because I've already started counting up to see what is going on. And the singles market is on fire right now. But we'll talk about that tomorrow. I look forward to seeing you there for that video. Guys, have an awesome day today. Don't forget, bring a friend to Magic. Hey guys, welcome back to the end of the video. That's right, these are the patrons, the supporters of the channel who make it all happen. Without this Patreon support, daily uploaded content would not be possible. So thanks again to my amazing patrons. Thanks again to my YouTube membership members for supporting the channel each and every day. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Have a great one. Okay, you're here. We made it to the end. The Ramble Jamble has begun, and you're all invited. Most people don't know, but you got to stick around to the end. Welcome back, guys. Here in the Ramble Jamble, I got to say, I cannot believe that that's the difference in price. They didn't raise the price at all for the collector boxes. That's very smart. I'm not going to give them a hand clap, but that is a smart play. Either means the cards are going to be a little bit weaker, or they're going to keep things exactly the same because they need that revenue coming in, and they're terrified about what happens if it flops. Terrified. That's my personal opinion. No inside knowledge, no inside baseball. I just know how I would feel as a company saying, we had some guys tank the last little while. We can't afford to have this one go under. How do we guarantee, marketing team, economic team, that we make sure it's good? Well, if you don't change the pricing, you give some good cards we've seen from the R&D, and you know what? This may level out in a pretty good positive way with the cash flow coming out about the same, and with the headwinds you talked about in the fourth quarter earning call, maybe we'll get away with this with like my hands moving in weird ways that maybe you won't know that I don't know what I'm talking about, right? And before you know it, we get the same pricing. Play boosters a little bit different, but still close enough. We didn't have commander decks, which is another revenue source. Don't forget that, guys. That's an extra revenue source, which makes up for the fact they're not going to jack up the prices. People forget that stuff. That's why I save it for the end, to let you guys just get that little bit of the cheese, a little bit of a taste at the end. Anyway, thanks for being here. Thanks for stopping by. You're amazing. You know you are. But now let's be honest. You haven't done your laundry. You didn't start dinner. Kids aren't doing their homework in the background. I know you're not, because my kid's not. Let's get it all together, people. Let's be serious. Let's get life started. And then we'll go buy some Magic cards and have such a good time on the weekend. And whatever time else we can fit in there.